an honor for me to be here tonight to preside at our 11th annual Hall of Fame ceremony. It's hard to believe, number 11. Tonight, the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association is going to honor 9 more most worthy people, bringing the total to 99. Alumni spanning the years from 1952 to 1974. Alumni from Maine to Florida to Chelmsford. From an outstanding scholar, athlete, and coach to a space missile launch officer. From a model public school science teacher to the founder of our association. From a female pioneer in civil engineering to a scholar, athlete, and athletic director. From a federal safety engineer to 2 outstanding public school administrators. Among these 9 alumni up here, there are 1 class president, 1 class valedictorian, 3 class vice presidents, 1 student council president, 3 varsity captains, and 2 church youth officers. True leaders. Our Hall of Fame recognizes alumni from all walks of life. We recognize alumni who distinguished themselves while they were in high school. Alumni who have distinguished themselves in their profession. Alumni who have distinguished themselves in their community. We also recognize Chelmsford High School teachers and administrators who over the years, while at the high school, worked to make our high school, Chelmsford High School, the great and renowned educational institution that it is today. The Alumni Association also recognizes individuals and organizations who over the years have given generous and continuous support to the students of Chelmsford High School with our Golden Lion Award. Tonight, we honor such an organization. Now, my pleasure to introduce our Alumni Association President, Bill Keohane.
Thank you, George. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 11th Hall of Fame induction ceremony and dinner. It is truly my pleasure and honor to be here this evening representing the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. I extend these greetings on behalf of the Board of Directors, the officers, the committee members, and the entire Chelmsford High School Alumni Association family. I want to extend a special welcome to the class of 2001. Congratulations, inductees. You know, I'm sure this is the finest class to be inducted ever. And of course, I'm especially honored to be here this evening because I am an inductee, and this is truly an honor for me. Tonight, our organization recognizes the many varied accomplishments of our graduates, the staff, the benefactors of Chelmsford High School, to a unique Hall of Fame. A program which I'm sure you will all enjoy. Our Alumni Association believes the foundation established while at Chelmsford High School provides us with the tools we need to create a successful and happy lifestyle. The CHS community, the teachers, the administration, the coaches, and the entire staff, the many volunteers who assist at our high school contribute to an atmosphere where each and every student knows that they are special and they can be whatever they want to be. Tonight we recognize the individuals who have taken that knowledge and done good things with it. But we also honor the work of the many people and organizations that support our great school. Our Alumni Association is only 12 years old. 11 Hall of Fames, and I'm very proud to say our endowment fund, which provides scholarships, will most likely reach $300,000 this year. That is through the effort and hard work of many, many individuals, some of who are here this evening, and some of who are not. But I'm just very proud to be the president of an organization that recognizes a need and attempts to do something about it instead of complaining about it. Thank you all for coming. I hope you have an enjoyable evening. I hope your dinner went well, and I hope you enjoy the presentations that you'll enjoy. George was the greatest master of ceremonies that you've ever had.
Thank you, Bill. And now I'd like to introduce the principal of Chelmsford High School, Mr. Steve Micah. Steve?
I'm most proud to stand before you as principal of Chelmsford High School. For the achievements of our students, past and present, the dedication and talent of our faculty, the character and integrity associated with Chelmsford High School would make any principal of such a fine school think that he can walk on water. However, Mother Nature, in the form of this past storm, has truly humbled me with a basement full of water knee-deep, which shows you I do not walk on water, but I do a pretty good job of bailing out. However, I do have the privilege each day of walking among a most unique group of young people, future Chelmsford High School alumni, many of whom, along with their teachers K through 12, will be future inductees in this very esteemed Hall of Fame. I always look forward to tonight's ceremony, for it allows me an opportunity to update our alumni on the state of their high school to date. However, living in Chelmsford, I often meet former graduates of our high school. These meetings not only allow me the pleasure of hearing what these alumni are doing with their lives after Chelmsford High School, but these unexpected encounters permit me to update these alumni about Chelmsford High School today. For instance, my dentist is a graduate of our high school. Inevitably, he will ask, "So how's my high school? Are the kids today as good as we were?" Interesting, isn't it, how each member of a graduating class forgets the difficulties they encountered and only remembers their achievements? To my dentist, I respond with emphasis, "It's so difficult to talk with a Novocaine and the suction device in your mouth." What my dentist, other alumni, and you folks present tonight need to realize is that our students, past, present, and in the future, throughout their 13 years of education in the Chelmsford Public Schools, are provided an educational experience that encourages not only a realization of their individual potential, but more importantly, a challenge to use their talents toward the realization of a better tomorrow for all. Just over the past year since our last Hall of Fame, over 120 Chelmsford High School students qualified for consideration for a full scholarship to our state universities due to their performance on the state's new high stakes test, the MCAS. 2 students in the class of 2001, our present senior class, have won trustee scholarships to Boston University covering full tuition and renewable for 4 years. Our senior class includes 18 commended National Merit Scholars, and all 5 semi-finalists have recently been notified that they are finalists for National Merit Scholarships, and an additional student has been awarded an Achievement Scholarship, all based on their high performance on the preliminary scholastic achievement test. Approximately 93% of our students go on to further education, 87% onto a 4-year college. This year, we have over 90 students qualifying for our National Honor Society. Our math team is currently ranked 3rd in the nation. Our computer team has once again qualified for national competition to be held this year in Miami. I think I'll go along and accompany them. Not that I can help them much. Our calculus team has maintained a perfect score in all its competitions thus far this year. Our students have captured first place in both the regional and state competitions of speech sponsored by the Lions Club and the Veterans of Foreign War. Our TV club recently earned an award for its videotape coverage of local events and sports. Our school newspaper was won first place recognition from the American Press Association. Our junior engineer technical society team won first place this year at the regional competition. They beat Brookline High School by 3 points and is currently rated 33rd in the nation. We had a team of students compete in the UMass Lowell engineering competition and achieve second place. All our biology students this year participated in the Boston University City Lab program, which presents the most updated techniques used in biotech industry. Over 90% of our students taking advanced placement tests in English, science, math, and social studies achieved a score of 4 or 5, the 2 highest scores possible on these college-level tests. In fine arts, 6 students were invited to participate in the highly competitive All-State Musical Festival. 19 students were chosen for the Distinguished Senior District Music Festival, and 7 students were awarded placement in the Distinguished Junior District Music Festival. In the Boston Globe Scholastic Art Awards competition, 3 students received honorable mention, 5 received Silver Key Awards, 2 received Gold Key Awards, and 2 students have had their portfolios selected for the New York City competition. As a result of receiving a gold medal at the MICA Band and Orchestra Festival, our Chelmsford High School Orchestra performed at the Ozawa Hall at Tanglewood last May. Our orchestra was also invited to perform at the opening session of the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development National Conference held in Boston this past week. Our Chelmsford High School Marching and Concert Band performed in London. Over 100 students performed as cast, crew, and orchestra, as directors, stage managers, and even orchestra directors for our West Side Story production, which performed to a sold-out house for 3 performances. Interesting, our school was commended by the local press for having the courage to perform this musical, delivering a most important message on tolerance in the present climate of political correctness. Not only in academics, but also on the athletic fields, pools, rinks, and courts, our students and their coaches have maintained a reputation for excellence. 22 athletes were selected for the All-Star teams in the spring of 2000. 33 athletes for the All-Star teams in the fall season of 2000. And 34 athletes for the All-Star teams this past winter. We've had 7 athletes chosen as all-scholastic players in their sports, and 1 student chosen as the District A Scholar Athlete of the Year during the past 3 seasons, along with 6 MVC Players of the Year. Our girls' softball, soccer, cross-country, volleyball, and cheerleading teams, along with our boys' cross-country, football, swimming, and ski teams, were MVC champions. Our girls' swimming team was second in the state. 2 members of our wrestling team were state champions. We're getting close to the end. I can't help it, our kids are so successful. And our softball, girls' tennis, girls' soccer, field hockey, and gymnastic teams, along with our football, lacrosse, boys' tennis, boys' soccer, and hockey teams all qualified for state tournaments. Perhaps the most important recognition our athletes have received, in my opinion, are the letters that I receive from other schools' athletic directors and coaches, commenting on the sportsmanship and character of our athletes in competition. One letter recently received was from Lowell wrestling coach, Mr. Bossy, commending a young man that is present tonight, Steve Hawkins. Steve, would you please stand? I'm going to embarrass you one more time. He went to the bathroom? He went to the dance. I didn't know Steve was going to be here. Steve was wrestling an opponent in Lowell when he realized that the shoulder of his opponent popped. Steve refused to continue to wrestle, thus saving this Lowell wrestler from injuries that would have ended his career. That's the kind of athlete that we have at Chelmsford High School. I also wish to emphasize the unselfish commitment of our professional staff toward providing opportunities for student success within the classroom and beyond the school day. Just last weekend, math teacher and cross-country and track coach Jack Lane was voted into the Massachusetts State Track Coaches Hall of Fame. During the past 3 seasons, 6 of our coaches were selected Coaches of the Year, including Bruce Rich for softball, Jim Durkin and Jack Lane for cross-country, Ann Murnane for girls soccer, and Angie Rapone and Jill Landry for gymnastics. John Mostow, a member of both our science and math department, was honored as one of the state PALMS project leaders, a joint effort with Northeastern University to improve math instruction. John Mostow was also selected to serve on the MCAS test preparation for math, along with Katie Burnham of our science department, who will help prepare the new science MCAS. Joan Murphy of our practical arts department was just selected as the 2001 Outstanding Family and Consumer Science New Professional of the Year. Melinda Leckberg of our science department was selected to spend this past summer working at MIT's Haystack Observatory, creating lesson plans building on the partnership between the lab and Chelmsford High School. Melinda and our students actually operate the radio telescope from Chelmsford High School and scan the sky for evidence of polar molecules. Her research will be incorporated into our chemistry curriculum, and due to Melinda's efforts, one of our students is now doing independent research at the Haystack Observatory. I feel a bit foolish because I asked them if they could just let me look at the man in the moon to see if there really is one. Let you not misunderstand. Chelmsford as a town and Chelmsford Public Schools have many challenges facing them now and in the future. Not all our students enter our schools ready to learn, nor do they enter believing in their abilities to succeed. For these students, we must continue to attract the same level of dedicated and talented professionals as those many educators soon to retire from our classrooms. To provide the skills and experiences that prepare our youth for career opportunities in this new century, we must provide our students with the most up-to-date technology and schools that meet the standards of handicap access, safety, and facilities that allow for the new methodologies of teaching. We must undo the errors of past decisions, give our students an auditorium at the high school. You knew I was going to slip that in. A place where they can perform and demonstrate their talents, and also a place where they can learn from outside resources who will be invited in to perform, a practice that is regular at most other high schools. I'd like to just take a moment. When we presented our proposal to the state, and they looked at our plans, they only had one question, and that was, when they looked over our plans, why Chelmsford High School was proposing a 1,000-seat auditorium. What were they going to do with their present auditorium? The achievements I have highlighted tonight will soon diminish if we do not recognize the age of our facilities and the new state laws that eliminate all study halls and require all students to be in classrooms all day, which has created crowded classrooms and insufficient space to offer our students classes with an increasing enrollment. While the solution to many of these challenges require increased funds for education, I have yet to see the town of Chelmsford turn its back on its present students and future alumni. Not only is our school a caring community, but our community is one that cares for its schools. Just recently, I was having some blood drawn for my yearly physical. The female technician, in her conversation to distract me so that I wouldn't pass out, began a diatribe on our youth today. She lives in Westford, originally lived in Tingsboro, and was unaware that I was principal of Chelmsford High School. She filled those little vials quickly because my pressure was going up and up. She claimed today's kids were spoiled, non-productive, and unappreciative. Being the courageous person I am, I waited until the procedure was complete and all needles were out of sight. And then I began to contradict her claims with some of the facts I've shared with you tonight. I ended my conversation by inviting her to come unannounced to Chelmsford High School and to walk the corridors and classrooms with my students and staff. She countered by observing that Chelmsford High School must be unique. I'm convinced that other schools have students just as remarkable as ours. But I must agree, Chelmsford High School is unique. We have a staff that is committed to providing the best education. We have parents who work as members of our Friends of Music, as members of our All Sports Boosters Club. They join our PTO, and as alumni with our Alumni Association, providing scholarships and monies for equipment and educational experiences beyond those provided in our school budget. Most importantly, we have a community that continues to support our school's mission. To imitate a recent ad on TV, the cost of a teacher, on the average, is $30,000 to $50,000. The cost of a coach or advisor, a stipend of $500 to $5,000. The cost of renovations to 3 out-of-date facilities, possibly $33 million after state reimbursements of 67%. But the cost of a Chelmsford public school education, priceless. To prove this, I invite you to listen to the achievements of our inductees tonight. Thank you.
That's our high school we described. Still doing great work there. And now with a great deal of pride and pleasure, I would now like to introduce the members of the class of 2001 of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. Hall of Fame. Silas Baker, class of 1952. At Chelmsford High School, the class vice president, member of the press club, vice president his senior year. He was a member of the yearbook staff. He was the editor-in-chief his senior year. Outside of school, he was a member of the Order of DeMolay, member of the Boy Scouts of America. He achieved the rank of Eagle Scout with Silver Palm. His college career. Graduated from Boston University in 1956 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Aerospace Engineering. He was the president of his class at the College of Engineering. He was the president of his fraternity, Lambda Chi Alpha. He was the treasurer of the Boston University Boosters Club, secretary of the Interfraternity Council. He was a member of the Arnold Air Society, member of the Air Force ROTC. College honors. Who's who among students in American universities and colleges. Member of the Scarlet Key and All University Honor Society. Scabbard and Blade Award for Outstanding ROTC Student. He was a distinguished military graduate. He earned his MBA from Rollins College in 1968. His professional career. United States Air Force, 1957 to 1960, as part of Strategic Air Command, SAC. General Dynamics, from 1960 to 1999. First, he was a launch officer for the Atlas Missile Program. Then, launch conductor for over 10 years. Then, the launch director responsible for the entire Atlas program at Cape Canaveral, including all programs and operations. He was directly involved as the button pusher over 100 launches, including the Pioneer space probe that is still out there beyond our solar system and continues its journey into the universe. His professional honors: Lockheed Martin Employee of the Year, 1995. Lockheed Martin Technical Achievement Award, 1996. Lockheed Martin Manager of the Year, 1997. Aviation Week in Space, Technology's Laurel Award in 1995 for outstanding achievement in the field of space. At the 33rd Space Congress Achievement Award, 1996, for extraordinary effort, dedication, leadership, and contributions to our nation's space program. Received the Lockheed Martin Nova Award for leadership in 1996 for unparalleled leadership of Atlas launch operations. This was presented at the 3rd Annual Nova Award Ceremony at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington. Recognized throughout the industry as Mr. Atlas. Community involvement. Not that one. Community involvement. White House Conference on Children and Youth. Served as county chairman and chairman of the Florida delegation in the early 70s. National Management Association, served as its president, 1975-1976. The Hope United Church of Christ Board of Trustees, served as its chairman. Building Committee, served as its chairman. The Brevard County School Board, 1968 to 1972. Good Government Award, Merritt Island J.C.'s in 1972. He's a life member of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. His family includes his wife Frances, 2 sons, Curtis and Barry, 2 granddaughters, Caitlin and Hannah, and 2 grandsons, Kenneth and Aaron. My distinct pleasure to introduce to you Silas Baker, Mr. Atlas.
Thank you very much, George. I may get back into politics. You want to come with me? Okay. First of all, can you hear all right with this? I am flabbergasted by the organization that you have here for the Chelmsford alumni. You got a benchmark going. You really do. This is quite an association you've got, this event, and magazines and everything that you do. It boggles my mind a little bit. Well, I've been away for 49 years, and it's going to take a little while to tell you what I've been doing. But I'll skip some of that. I have been in Chelmsford in 49 years, and New England just a little bit short of that, so I kind of like to return to the native here. And just for a couple of seconds, maybe what I thought I would mention to you is a couple of New England people who have had a terrific effect on my own personal life. And that would start with a man by the name of Murray Hicks, who was a physics teacher here in 1952. And not only did he teach physics to me, he got me a job at Page's drugstore so that I could afford to go to college. He helped me with that. And I can remember staying after school or not talking with Murray. And one of the favorite things that we would do is he would try to think of a question that didn't have an answer. And then I would try to find the answer, and then I would try to think of a question for him that didn't have an answer, and then he would try to find an answer to the question that had no answer. And that was something that has always stayed with me. If anything Murray did for me, he taught me just to love learning. Short of spending time with my wife and having mashed potatoes with gravy, I think learning is I love to learn. I can't understand how anybody, I love to study, I love to take tests, nothing excites me more than learning something I didn't know before. And Murray had an awful lot to do with that. A fellow by the name of Robert Goddard is the other New Englander I would mention. It was 75 years ago this week that Robert Goddard demonstrated the first liquid rocket engine down at Camp Devens. And it is liquid rockets, the thing that made the big change in rocketry. We got out of these firecrackers that the Chinese had, and we started doing something that you could control and get some action out of. It was liquid rockets that did that, and Robert Goddard is the man that did that. He, his wife, and a technician by the name of Junquist kept up with the German nation for about 10 years, all by themselves. They had a German rocket society, a man by the name of Oberth ran that, hundreds of German scientists. Robert Goddard, his wife, and Junquist kept up with them. And Keohane was the first one to develop not only the propulsion system, but the guidance system, all by himself, 3 people. So you can make a difference. The third one that I would mention is a fellow by the name of Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he has been the core of my life since I first got into his studies. And there's a little secret that just everybody at the Cape that knew anything about the Atlas knows, and I'll share it with the people in Chelmsford here, is that before every single launch there that I did, and it was a little thumb here that I launched the rocket with myself, before every one of those events, before I went into the blockhouse, I would go into my office and close the door and read Emerson essays. And I did that for about 12 years. The self-reliance is my favorite. It's been a godsend of my own life. It's been the way I've raised my children. And anybody that's had any contact with me has felt a little bit of self-reliance, because that's what I try very hard to emphasize. For those of you who are not familiar with the man, one of my favorite sayings of his is this: each day is a good one if you know what to do with it. That's the way Emerson thought. Lastly, and now sit down, I cannot come into Massachusetts and leave without nudging a little bit here, and I'll try to do it as a gentleman. You had a man by the name of Samuel Adams, and I don't mean the beer. I mean the real Samuel Adams. He had an obsession against tyranny and against big government. When I went to Florida in 1964, I went to the county office. I told them I wanted to register the vote. I told them how I wanted to register the vote. They told me, we don't have that party in Florida. And I said, you're gonna have that party in Florida. 4 years later, I was on the Brevard County School Board with a majority from this party that hadn't been in Florida before. We had a congressperson from that party that hadn't been in Florida in 150 years. And we had a sheriff who had come out of New York City. Funny place for this particular party to come. But we did it, and that was all from the, I think from the New England heritage of this man, Samuel Adams. I'm not too sure we're totally in tune with all of Massachusetts now on solutions for problems, but I think what's behind those solutions is the vigor and the attention and the dedication and the love of freedom that Samuel Adams had. So we may have different solutions to the problems, but I thank you, and I thank Chelmsford High School for letting me know that there were such people, and I've kind of picked up on that. And once again, thank you. It's been a wonderful event. Now sit down and give some others a chance.
Kathleen Howe, class of 1965. Chelmsford High School. Member of the National Honor Society, junior and senior years, treasurer her senior year. She was a member of the math team, junior and senior years. Member of the yearbook staff, her senior year. Member of the choir and glee club, all 4 years. She was a participant in the Northeastern Music Festival. She was a member of the science club, junior and senior years, and she was a science fair participant. She was a member of the American Field Service Club her senior year. She was a participant in the talent show, all 4 years. She was a participant in the musicals, her sophomore, junior, and senior years. She was a member of the rock band, the Spectres. She was a member of the Girl Scouts of America, and she was an officer in her church youth group. Her college career. Graduated from Tufts University College of Engineering in 1969 with a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in civil engineering. Involved with the American Society of Civil Engineers and the Boston Society of Civil Engineers while at Tufts. Performed graduate work during her senior year and prepared research for the Vermont Department of Transportation in strength of soils for supporting piles of Vermont silt. She presented her research to the Boston Society of Civil Engineers and received the highest award for research. received engineering and training certificate from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. At Tufts, she was one of 10 female students selected to participate in the first alternate living arrangements at Tufts, starting the first co-op living dormitory for women. A milestone in those days. Her professional career, 1969 to 1971, an engineer, the engineering department in Riverside, California. In 1972, she was a member of the Riverside County Grand Jury, responsibilities including overseeing county government and indictments. From 1973 to 1982, she was self-employed while raising 3 children, painted, wallpapered, kept the books, hired subcontractors for remodeling apartment buildings. 1982 to 1985, a civil engineer and a surveyor for the Fleming, Bienvenu and Associates Company. She prepared subdivision, site plans, septic systems, and road designs. From 1985 to the present time, purchased the assets of Fleming, Bienvenu and Associates from retiring owners. She turned the company from 11 to 35 employees, specialized in surveying, doing work for developers, towns, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the federal government. Her main interest, or their main interest, is in deed research with land problems. In 1994, she opened an office at Devon's to assist Massachusetts development in the passing of the former Fort Devon's. In 1996, they purchased the majority of Vermont Surveying and Engineering in Montpelier, Vermont. Her civic and community involvement, 1988 to 1996, New England swimming stroke and turn judge at Stoddard and a member of the board. 1988 to 1992, president of the Merrimack Valley Pirates swim team, member of the board from 1992 to 1996. From 1990 to 1996, Chelmsford Swim and Tennis Club, again, stroke and turn judge at Stoddard. 1995, Chelmsford Little League. She helped design the volunteer field, provided survey services for its construction. 1998 to the present time, the Carl Olsen Community Track and Fields, providing design and survey services. 1990, Chelmsford Youth Soccer provided again survey services for the Mill Road fields. The Parker Middle School provided design and survey services for the courtyard, presenting programs to the 8th grade geometry students and engineering. 1999 to 2000, Barney Playground, again providing survey services for the new playground. 1996 to 1999, Chelmsford High School assistant swim coach on a volunteer basis. 1989 to 1990, participated in the Japanese Student Exchange Program by hosting a Japanese student. 1999 to the present time, University of Massachusetts Lowell Department of Engineering sponsor each year a Scholar Intern Program, which provides a scholarship for 1 engineering student per year. Her memberships, member of the Massachusetts Association of Land Surveyors and Civil Engineers, 1983 to the present time. She was the editor of its newsletter from 1988 to 1992. Member of the American Congress on Surveying and Mapping, 1985 to the present time. Member of the Geographic Land Information Society, 1998 to the present time. Member of the CHS class of 1965 reunion committees for 1975, 80, 85, and 90. She's a director of the Chelmsford Business Association. She's a director of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, Chelmsford Town Meeting representative, and a member of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. Family includes her daughter Kristen, who's up here on head table with us, Chelmsford High School class of 1990, daughter Alicia, Chelmsford High School class of 1992, and a son David, Chelmsford High School class of 1996, and I might add, all members of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. In the 1965 yearbook, under her picture, it says lots of things. 2 very important ones. Chelmsford's Annie Oakley. And it also says, future civil engineer. With a great deal of pleasure, I would like to present her daughter, Kristen.
Thank you. I'm very proud to be here tonight to represent my mother, Kathleen. While my family, my brother and sister have known for years that she's a lady deserving of many honors and awards, it's very nice to know that she's also honored by her community and her peers. My mom would like nothing more than to be here with you tonight to celebrate this occasion, but as many of you know, she's been fighting some tough battles for her health as of late. And while I have neither her natural ability or her confidence as a public speaker, I hope that you will bear with me, as she has asked that I say a few words on her behalf. In fact, she's demanded I say a few words on her behalf. As she came out of her most recent surgery, the first thing she said to me was, "You need to bring a notepad, we have to get going on this speech." So she's asked me to thank a few people, and first, above all, she would like to thank Mr. Simonian for the nomination and the Alumni Association for the honor of being inducted into the Chelmsford High School Hall of Fame. When I talked with her about how proud she must be to receive this honor, she was very clear on one idea, that no one person can be successful without the support of many. And she has always believed and told me that that support starts at home. So for that, she would like to thank her mother and her father. We're lucky to have my grandmother here this evening with us. And she would like to thank them for the confidence that they had given her and the high standards that they had always set for her to do what she wanted to do. She'd also like to thank the excellent faculty that she had during her years at Chelmsford High School, especially her math and science teachers, as many of them encouraged her to follow her own path, even though her path at this time was quite unique for young women. Although at the time she was in high school, the ratio of women to men at engineering schools was 3 to 250. The faculty at Chelmsford High School and her professors at university held her to the same high standards that her parents had first set for her at home. She is so glad that today, in good schools like Chelmsford High School, she sees an increased effort by teachers to encourage young women in math and science fields, eliminating much of the work discrimination that she experienced early in her career as a civil engineer. And finally, although she has said it many times to my brother, sister, and I, and although it makes me slightly uncomfortable to say it now, she wants me to publicly say thank you to her children. As a single mom of 3 with not a lot of support, she felt that we were her drive and her necessity to be successful and to work hard. And I wanted to say that for her, but I think, in fact, that it is the 3 of us that should thank her for inspiring us as such a good role model. Thank you again for this honor, and thank you all personally from me for all your kind words, thoughts, and prayers for my mother during her recovery. Thank you.
Dennis Hunt, class of 1964, at Chelmsford High School, member of the varsity track team, sophomore, junior, and senior years. He was a member of the 1963 Class C State Championship track team. He was a member of the 1963 Class C State Championship relays team. He ran the quarter mile. Member of the Science Club, sophomore, junior, and senior years. He was a science fair participant, sophomore, junior, and senior years. He was a member of the Leaders Club his senior year. His college career. Graduated from Lowell State College, class of 1968, with a Bachelor of Arts degree with a major in biology. Graduated as the highest ranking biology major. Graduated from Fitchburg State College, class of 1972, with a Master's in Education with a major in Science Education. Graduated from Fitchburg State College in 1993 with a Certificate of Advanced Graduate Study with emphasis on curriculum development and cooperative learning. His professional career, from 1968 to the present time, Chelmsford Public Schools. During that period of time, junior high, middle school, life science teacher. He's been a science club advisor, race walking club advisor, science fair advisor. If you've seen him, you'll know what I'm talking about. Team facilitator, McCarthy Middle School Improvement Council, the Chelmsford School-Wide District Improvement Council, Chelmsford Summer School Assistant Director, 1987 to 1990, Director, 1990 to 1996. University of Massachusetts Lowell Summer Session, 1995, 96, and 97, an instructor, teaching science in the middle school. September of 2000 to the present time, middle school instructional specialist. In this role, he provides professional development for middle school teachers with the emphasis on the new teacher. He provides a mentorship program for new teachers. He provides, designs, and demonstrates instructional strategies to assist teachers in meeting the many diverse needs of their learners. He provides and models as many educational pathways as possible to support the classroom environment for both students and teachers to experience success at the middle school level. Awards and honors. In 1970, he was nominated for a Distinguished Service Award for Community Service by the United States of America JCs. In 1995, Massachusetts Biology Teacher of the Year. He received this award at the National Convention of the National Association of Biology Teachers in October of 1995 in Phoenix, Arizona. In the summer of 1997, selected to participate in an Earth Watch expedition. With a grant from Bell Atlantic and the Lotus Corporation, he spent the summer on an island off Crete, off the coast of Greece, studying the native goat population with members of the University of Biology. He is recognized as an expert in cooperative learning strategies. His civic and community involvement, St. Mary's Church, works with the Ministry for Youth program facilitating teen confirmation interviews. Member of the Chelmsford Soccer Association. Many professional associations. Member of the Chelmsford Federation of Teachers. Member of the National Biology Teachers Association. Member of the National Science Teachers Association. The member of the Massachusetts Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. Member of the New England Association of Middle Schools. Is a member of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. His family, wife Everett, Chelmsford High School class of 1964, and a member of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. Son Ryan, CHS class of 91, daughters Denise, CHS class of 92, and Julie, CHS class of 2001. In the 1964 yearbook, next to his picture it says, "Oh, that biology. CYO present. A cordial hello to everyone. Future teacher." I give you Dennis Hunt.
Please don't worry, it's almost time to put your jammies on. Okay, Jay, it's almost that time. Thank you, the Board of Directors for the Chelmsford Alumni Association. I don't understand and believe the work that these folks put into this particular evening. I truly appreciate their time and effort for our cause. It is truly appreciated. Do what you love what you do, and deliver more than you promise. And know what you do. You have that job description for me, Mr. Because my boss is out there and I gotta know what I have to do on Monday. Thank you very much. In my job description, it talks about the mentorship program. The most fantastic thing, because the mentor has been a big thing in my life, whether you be 5 years old, 10 years old, 15, 40, or maybe 55, I'm not saying what that might be, or beyond, we all need a mentor. We all need a hero. We all need somebody that makes us feel good about ourselves and be able to succeed. That is phenomenal. I remember in the 7th grade, Miss Dion, she loved me so much she kept me for a second year. We do not believe in social, what's that called? Promotion. I did not believe. I asked my mother, how come I'm still here with these boys and girls? And my mother said, the teacher loves you. Speak about differentiated instruction, to meet the needs of all students. Here we are in the East School, where we have 2 classrooms in each grade. In each grade, each teacher is trying to meet the needs of each one, to get the student where he is and bring him one step higher to meet the standards of that class. Not all kids are in the same place or can learn at the same pace. It's amazing that even way back then, we had this phenomenal ability in the Chelmsford school system to meet the needs of all students. I'm very proud of that because I am a legend of that. I tried to find the one word that met all of this, and there's one word that meets all of this for the Chelmsford School Department, and that is the compassionate heart. The compassionate heart is something that is so phenomenal in the Chelmsford school system. These people are great people. The ones I said that brought us to the next level. Yes, I'll get that later. They understood that we were able to go one step further by stretching our imagination and thinking process. That is one thing about the Chelmsford school system that was phenomenal, and to one I say thank you. There is one particular mentor in particular with a particular curious type of bow tie. This is a gentleman that had a 10-gallon compassionate heart. His name was George Simonian. This is the man that brought me into education. He was my mentor. He is still my mentor. He is a man that I love dearly. There is something I will never forget. At his school, in the room that I taught in for 26 years was his school room. Over the door of his office was a sign that says, you get out of something what you put into it. And forever in my life, I've always considered that to be my motto, my trust in the future, because it is for a man like him and his particular feelings. He is a visionary. He knew about kids back then. He knew about active learning. He knew about the student-centered classroom where activity was the most important thing, because activity is the thing that causes the kids to see patterns in their relationships. And to be able to go on. So that is fantastic. And to George Simonian, I owe the reason why I'm standing here today. And to him, I give him my love as always. I must also thank the Chelmsford High School. No, not the alumni. The scholarship fund. They put me through 4 years of the Chelmsford High School. It was phenomenal. The Chelmsford High School scholarship fund. 4 years. I truly, to them, say thank you very much. As you know, you get out of something what you put in. That's the hero. That's the hero. I do have a hero. I have a brother. I have a brother, Jerry Hunt, who, at my time when my father passed away at an early age, I said to him, what shall I be, Jerry? Jerry says, I'm a teacher. Why don't you be a teacher? Another hero. A very special one. This is one of a little bit more seriousness. From the desk of Dr. with your learning with purpose approach. I am proud to be your colleague. You continue contribute so much to the middle school philosophy. I deeply appreciate all that you do. Thanks, Dick. I read this note not because of what it says about me, but what it says about him. His compassionate and loving heart in caring for people and kids and education. My most recent mentor, and again, you must understand that mentors sometimes they don't have to be when you're a young age, but when you get older, with your new job. Karen Mazza, the Assistant Superintendent of Schools for the town of Chelmsford, has kind of made me known that success is a door that actually opens in and not opens out. Because if success is a door that opens out, we see about things, about tasks that might be too easy, and therefore we have success. Or tasks that are too hard, and therefore we feel we can't succeed. Or maybe it's just luck. I was lucky at the interview, so I did very well. Or the tie I wore at the interview had a spot on it, so I was not very lucky. I learned from her that success comes inward from innate ability. Yes, we all don't have the same innate ability, but it is the conscientious effort that we put into it that makes a difference. And that is what I am so proud about, is the way that we use this effort. As to use the saying from the army that don't want to use it anymore, be all that you can be. Climb the highest mountain. Reach out and touch someone with your compassionate heart. Because this is what education and life on our planet should all be about. And that brings me to those people closest to me, which is my family. I am so proud of my son Ryan. He too was a struggling student, as myself I feel. Which he had to put up with me for so much. And I am so proud of the fact that he put his mind in whatever, and he found about his innate ability and the effort to be able to come and be part of the National Honor Society in our town of Chelmsford. And to him I say I am very proud and thank you. To my middle daughter who just got married, wow, what a heart of gold that she has. She is my caretaker. She is the one that takes care of me. She is the one that's now working with children. Not the struggling one, not the advanced, but the one in the middle. She is working very hard with the one that never gets the attention and is doing so well in her new role as guidance counselor. And to her I say thank you. And to my young rebel, the girl at the high school, okay, the one that is so creative, the one that uses art and expression, the girl that I am so proud with, that I really drive crazy. Because all my life the kids have loved Mr. Hunt, and I come home and expect the same from her. It's not the same. She has a love for the world of art. Her artistic ability is unbelievable. Not just for herself, but she wants to get into art therapy. She wants to use art to make children feel better about themselves, to find out about their problems, and to be able to go on and be important people in their life. And to her I say thank you. And to the most portion of all, which is the hardest for me to say, is to my wife, who I say thank you, who had put up with me for over 40 years. You see, she was 2 seats up from me in the 7th grade. She is a lady that gave up her career in the education of college to let me get through so I could write a paper. And now she goes to college herself to make up for that difference. And to her, Yvette, I say I love you very much and thank you so very much for your time and effort to allow me to be here tonight. One thing I think finishes up really clearly, and this is one I'm really proud of. It says here, one looks back with appreciation to the brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to those who touched our human feelings. The curriculum is so much necessary raw material, but warmth is the vital element for the growing players and for the soul of the child. Thank you.
William Keohane, class of 1974. At Chelmsford High School, the class president. Member of the yearbook staff his senior year. Member of the freshman football team. Member of the varsity track team all 3 years. Member of the senior prom committee. Member of the senior banquet committee. Member of the student advisory committee for the new high school. His college career. Graduated from University of Lowell, class of 1978, with a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in Political Science and a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1979 with a major in Business Administration. Member of the History Club all 4 years. He was the president his junior and senior years. Member of the debate team, member of the yearbook staff, and he was a peer counselor. Student union representative. Class representative to the Student Government Senate. Member of the Dean of Students Advisory Committee. He graduated from Middlesex Community College, class of 1999, with an associate's degree in fire science. He has taken graduate courses at Boston College. His professional career. From July of 1978 to January of 1979, assistant to the hospital superintendent of Tewksbury State Hospital. January 79 to August of 79, was personal aide to the state representative Bruce Freeman. From August of 1979 to November of 1980, executive director of the Chelmsford Housing Authority. November of 1980 to March of 1983, personnel director at the Tewksbury State Hospital. March of 1983 to June of 1993, he was a proprietor of the Convenience Plus store in South Chelmsford. 1985 to the present time, he's a firefighter EMT with the Chelmsford Fire Department. His civic and community involvement, St. John's Church, over the years, member of the parish council, member of the choir, advisor to the CYO, member of the finance committee, member of the rectory and parish center building committee, and he's been an usher and lector. Chelmsford Housing Authority, from March of 1981 to May of 1999. He was a treasurer for 12 years, chairman 1998 to 1999. He's been a town meeting representative. Chelmsford Lodge of Elks, member of the Public Safety Appreciation Committee. Knights of Columbus, a founding member of the Bishop Roco Council. National Safety Council, nationally certified first aid instructor. American Heart Association, nationally certified CPR instructor. Volunteers instruction to community and nonprofit groups. Done this work at the Parker and McCarthy Middle School. Registered emergency medical technician. The Chelmsford High School Alumni Association was his brainchild. He was the founder. He is a life member of the association. The president, 1989 to 1991, and then from 1992 to the present time. Family includes his wife, Beth, and a very large extended family. In my 16 years as principal of Chelmsford High School, I had the good fortune to work closely with 16 class presidents, as they were my liaison with the student body, and they were expected to be role models. Now, it gives me great pleasure to present one of the most effective of those student leaders, my good friend, Bill Keohane.
What can you say? You got Norm Crosby. Thank you, George. It's indeed an honor that I stand here this evening. To be chosen as an inductee into the High School Alumni Association Hall of Fame, to be recognized by my peers, the people that I've worked so hard with the last 12 years, is truly an honor. First, I'd like to thank the committee for all their hard work. This is truly a monumental task that begins in the fall of each year, culminates not with this evening, but with the weeks after this, reviewing this night. And I just want to say thank you to them for all their hard work. I'd like to think that my induction this evening is probably based on my association with the Alumni Association, but I'm convinced after looking at the pictures out front, because I have the longest hair of anyone in high school that happens to be also a male. In the 70s, we had a little longer hair, and I think I had longer hair than anyone at the table this evening. But in all honesty, it has been a labor of love. I've had a lot of help along the way. It's interesting because when I thought about what I might say this evening, and I thought about the 10 years that I've sat right in this chair to the right of the people who have stood here, and I thought, geez, what are they talking about? And sometimes they would go on about things that didn't seem like they were very germane, and other times they would be very, very concise and very short. But the thing that came to my mind in these last few weeks as I prepared for this evening, it isn't as easy as we think to stand here. But something that does come to mind is that my thought process has followed in some line with all the others, even though none of us have talked before this evening. I decided that I would think of a little poetry, and I thought about The Road Not Taken that Robert Frost wrote so many years ago. And one of the lines from that poem is, one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And he talks about 2 roads that diverged. I thought about the paths and trails that we all lead in our lives. And it's not really the road that we choose, because no matter what road we choose or what path in life we are put upon, it isn't necessarily that road or path or trail, but the people who walk beside us that makes all the difference. And I've had the fortune, the good fortune, to walk with many very, very special people. One of them sitting right here beside me, who has been with me through this past 12 years and has made this organization so wonderful. But I've had some other people, and too many to mention individually other than my family. They're very special to me. They've been there since I was very young to support me in the many hairpin turns that I took along the way. My sisters, my brother, they've been an inspiration to me. This is an emotional evening. I also have a very exciting thing happening this year. My lovely wife, Beth, who is my soulmate, if there is ever such a thing, I found her, we'll be having our first baby tomorrow. My buddy Dan said to me the other day, "You're not going to cry up there, are you?" And I said, "No, you bet I am." And this is just so exciting for me because the year 2001 will always be a very, very special year with great memories. It starts with this evening, culminates in June with a baby, and I just can't think of any better way to spend a life. I thank you all for coming, and I thank you all for listening. Not every year do we do this, but we try to recognize not only individuals as an association, we try and recognize organizations that may play a special role in the life of students at Chelmsford High School. And this year it is with a great deal of pleasure that I present to the Chelmsford Friends of Music our Golden Lion Award. Not everyone can have the good fortune or distinction to have graduated from Chelmsford High School or to have worked there. But they do have the wonderful distinction of, as I said earlier, coming forward, seeing a need, and playing a role. And in the late 1970s, the Chelmsford Friends of Music was founded in an effort to fill a void that existed in our school system as a whole. They were created to benefit students in various music programs throughout the entire Chelmsford school system. The Chelmsford Friends of Music is a strong believer in support of the Fine Arts program in the schools and provides both assistance and financial support for its many functions. It's a nice organization. It's open to everyone, and there are no requirements for membership other than to care about schools and music. And I think that's just a great way to be. Some of the programs that they've supported in the past, and one thing that you may see is if you're a local resident, is they have bottle and can drives constantly. They're constantly raising money to help fund music programs with instruments, with attending conferences, attending musical events that might not otherwise be funded through the school system. They provide a great need in transporting kids. You know, we don't think about that all the time. There's not always buses available for 1 or 2 kids that might need to get to a band practice or get to an ensemble practice, whatever. So the parents and their assistants and volunteers that are available to transport the kids. They raise money. They purchased handbells for the charter schools, so they're not just for our public schools in what we know of, but the charter school, which is a public school, they're helping out there also. But in specifically for the high school, during a period of time when taxes and certain laws were enacted that forced the hand of school committees and administrations to make hard and tough choices and cut back in some of the programs that otherwise would not have been held in the music and arts, the Chelmsford Friends of Music came forward and did as much as they could in providing funding and support for the music and art programs throughout the schools, and specifically in Chelmsford High School. They've been doing that for 30 years almost, and it's a great service to the entire community. Some points of interest that were provided to me by the association The music program has gone from what was a pull-out program to part of a curriculum schedule. I think that's very important to remember. At some point in time, music and art became a necessity. I think that's great, because so many of us, we don't realize how much we take music and art for granted. How often we get into our car or we're sitting in our home and we quickly turn on the radio or the TV, or we just might read a book. These are all things that provide us with the needs of day-to-day living. Well, that's what music and art is all about. And too often we don't realize that, and it became, in some cases, a secondary program, something where kids came to as they had free time. And now it's part of the program. The Friends of Music were very instrumental in working hard to make that happen in Chelmsford. CHS Marching Band, what a great thing at the football games, the basketball, wherever they congregate, at the parades. They bring with them a school spirit, a visual that we all appreciate. Well, that group has grown from a low of 20 members, now over 100. I think that's fantastic. And so it is with a great deal of pleasure. I've only highlighted very briefly the many, many programs and many, many things that this group does. We don't take lightly this award. We give it out not every year, but when we see an organization that's doing good stuff, we want to recognize them. So this year it is a great deal of pleasure for me to present to the Chelmsford Friends of Music, the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association's Golden Lion Award. And I'll ask, I believe, Joyce Higgins, who is here to represent the organization, to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. On behalf of past and present board members for the Friends of Music, I want to say how grateful we are to receive such a distinguished award. You've got me here with nothing. I'm going to take it slow and easy. We've worked in the school system, the high school in particular, but system-wide, to keep music a very integral part of our children's education, which gives them, I feel, a very grounded, worthwhile education. Music, all the fine arts. I'm at a loss. I do want to mention that we do have a concert coming up next week, the high school's winter concert, spring concert, I'm sorry, Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock at McCarthy School. I want to thank you all for the support you've given us over the years. I hope you continue to support the Friends of Music. We can use your help. We love working with the students and seeing what the town of Chelmsford has accomplished musically. Thank you again for this award.
Karen Nerpouni, class of 1967, class valedictorian, National Merit Finalist, member of the National Honor Society, junior and senior years, member of the yearbook staff, assistant editor her senior year, member of the math club, sophomore and senior years, member of the math team, junior and senior years, member of the science club, sophomore, junior and senior years, a science fair participant, member of the American Field Service Club, junior and senior years, member of the band, all 4 years, member of the German chorus her senior year, member of the It's Academic TV show team, Channel 5. Her awards, the Dorothy F. Gay Award for Excellence in French, and the Reader's Digest Award for Excellence in Academics. College career, graduated from Tufts University, class of 1971, magna cum laude, with a Bachelor of Arts degree with a major in French. 1969-1970, during her college years, she went to Paris and studied at the Sorbonne. She graduated from Tufts University, class of 1979, with a Master of Arts degree in French and in Education. Graduated from Bentley College, class of 1987, with an MBA in Business with high honors. Specialization in organizational behavior. Advanced graduate study at Boston College, Boston University, and at Harvard University. Her professional career, 1971 to 1998, teacher of French at Concord Carlisle High School. During this time frame, 1980 to 84, then 87 to 92, chairperson of the Foreign Language Department. 1981 to 1990, chairperson of the Foreign Language Curriculum Coordinating Committee. 1992 to 1993, took a sabbatical to research alternative forms of assessment. 1993-94, leader of group to develop senior projects course. 94 to 95, staff developer and co-teacher of the senior projects course. 1995 to 1997, K through 12 curriculum coordinator for Concord Public Schools and Concord Carlisle High School. 1998 to the present time, she is the assistant superintendent of schools for curriculum and instruction for the Concord Public Schools and for the Concord Carlisle Regional School District. Her professional activities. May of 94, leader of review of the foreign language program of the Wellesley Public Schools. 1995-96, member of the Massachusetts Department of Education, MCAS Assessment Development Committee for World Languages. October 1997, co-presenter of session on task design at the Massachusetts Foreign Language Association's annual conference in Sturbridge. 97-99, member of a team to develop and implement a new course for beginning teachers called Understanding Learning. 1997-98, was a member of the Concord Carlisle High School mentor team. Her civic and community involvement, was a participant in Tufts University Walk for Hunger, supporter for Doctors Without Borders. She's a charitable contributor to WGBH and WBUR. Her memberships, Massachusetts Foreign Language Association, American Association of Teachers of French, American Council for the Teaching of Foreign Languages, Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents, Concord Carlisle Human Rights Council, and a member of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. Her family includes her parents, Sandal and Marge, brother-in-law Richard, sister Susan, CHS class of 72, and a member of the association, and her niece Elizabeth. In the 1967 yearbook, under her picture, among many things, it says, often a question, more often the answer. A versatile, vibrant, and virtuous leader. I give you Karen Nerpouni.
Thank you so much. It's really a great honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And my thanks go to George and to the Alumni Association. Although I think part of this is George wanted a fellow Armenian as part of the Hall of Fame. As an educator, I know the importance of what goes on in schools and what we do in schools. This Friday we had a professional day, and there was a speaker who was talking about developing socially responsible behavior in schools. And he said, we all know how to do the academic pieces, but it's the other types of things that are really critical to help shape children. And there are a lot of other things that we need to focus on. And as I heard him talk about that, I thought about it in terms of my Chelmsford High School days. And the things he talked about, he said, we need to focus on 4 things for kids. We need to focus on giving them a sense of belonging, a sense of recognition, freedom, and fun. So as I thought back about Chelmsford High School, how it did those things for me, and it did. In terms of getting a sense of belonging, I think we've heard some of that this evening with the music award. I was a part of the high school band for 4 years with some other fellow people here playing trumpet, and that was a place where I always felt I belonged. It's with Don Enos. Is he still around? He's still around. He's still around, and what was really wonderful is every day for 4 years, that's where I went, and it was a group of people that I felt a part of, led by a wonderful person. You don't always get that in high school. You have different teachers at different times, but just that sense of belonging to a very special group. And so, again, my congratulations to the music group, because you're continuing to support that kind of effort, which is so important to kids today in our schools. Another thing, as I mentioned, that we need is recognition. And it isn't this kind of recognition, although this is very nice, but it's what we do every day to recognize that one child, that one student. It's when you get a paper back from Helen Poland in English class, and it just has a nice comment on it. That's giving you a sense of recognition. Or when you're in math class with Marjorie Scaboria, and you solve a problem well, and you feel that sense of accomplishment. That's a way of recognition. There are those other things, those awards, they're equally important, but it can be those small things that we do to recognize people. The third piece was the piece of freedom. I think we all need that, but kids in particular need to have a sense of control over their lives. And in good schools, they get that freedom. And for me, it was the freedom to explore ideas. As you can hear by what George has said, I was a student. I was really into being a student. But it wasn't this rigidity of thought. It was being in an advanced science class with Don McComb, where I could really explore different ideas. And it wasn't just, it had to be this way, but that I could experiment and learn from that. And the final thing was fun. As you heard, I became a French teacher, but I think I got that fun and love of languages in classes with Terry Pelletier and Don Boucher. There was always such excitement and such fun in the learning. And I think that's something we have to continue to do for kids today, is give them that sense of fun and excitement. Last week, I was at that Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development National Conference. There were 15,000 people there. And as we were waiting to start the first session, I was sitting in a seat, and there was a woman next to me from Washington State. We were having a conversation, and on the big TV monitors and live was this wonderful string orchestra. And we're listening to them, and she turns to me and she says, "Wow, they are really wonderful." And I smiled and I turned to her and I said, "Well, they're from Chelmsford High School. I'm a graduate of Chelmsford High School." Thank you very much.
Everett Olsen Jr., class of 1966, at Chelmsford High School, member of the yearbook staff his senior year, member of the American Field Service Club, member of the varsity track team, member of the band all 4 years, member of the senior dance committee, a talent show participant, participated in the musicals of Camelot, Oklahoma, member of the student council. He was the president his senior year. His college career: graduated from Lowell Technological Institute, class of 1970, with a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in management. He was a member of the lacrosse team, student government representative, a member of the Society for the Advancement of Management, selected to who's who among students at American colleges and universities, and he was a class officer. Graduated from Babson College, class of 1973, with an MBA with distinction. His professional career: 1970 to 1973, a teacher in the Lowell Public Schools. 1973 to 1984, at the Lowell Public Schools, he was the Federal Programs Administrator, responsible for personnel management and administration of all federally funded programs with an annual budget of $2.5 million. 1984 to 1986, the Lowell School Department, Assistant Superintendent for Business Affairs, supervised the financial affairs of the Lowell School Department, including responsibilities such as administering the student transportation program, administering the school lunch program, administering the operation of the school plan, which is made up of 26 buildings, preparation and control of the school budget. From 1986 to October of 2000, Westford Public Schools, Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Administration. Responsibilities include administering all the financial affairs of the school district, personnel management and collective bargaining for all support staff employee groups, administer the operation of all the school buildings, administer the food service program, administer the purchasing program, the student transportation program, manage the school district's insurance program, coordinate the development of the school district's technology plan. From October of 2000 to the present time, the Westford Public Schools, he is the interim superintendent of schools, responsible for the overall planning, operation, and performance of the Westford Public Schools. He is the chief executive officer. His other professional activities from 1982 to the present time: part-time instructor of economics at Riviere, at Middlesex Community College, and at LaSalle College. 1996, he was a part-time consultant for a government consulting group. Co-authored a number of management studies for municipalities such as Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Waterford, Connecticut. Civic and community participation: he has served as a coach with the Chelmsford Little League and Chelmsford Youth Basketball. His memberships include the Massachusetts Association of School Business Officials, the National Association of School Business Officials, Board of Directors of the Westford Net Day Organization, and he's a member of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. His family includes his wife, Susan, son Everett III, CHS class of 98, Daughters Kristen, CHS Class of 2000, Kirby, CHS Class of 2001, and Kate, CHS Class of 2004. In the 1966 yearbook, under his picture, it says, among other things, Billy, trumpet player with a smile for everyone. Everett, Billy Olsen.
Thank you very much, George. And I have to say it, like others up here before me, if nothing else tonight, it's indeed an honor to stand next to and be on the same platform with a man whose caring, whose commitment, whose love of community and the Chelmsford Public Schools will make him a true icon and has made him a true icon in the town of Chelmsford. And when the history of this town continues to be written, George Simonian's name will be one of the most prominent names in the history of Chelmsford. He's an absolute wonderful... Well, it's particularly proud, I'm particularly proud to be inducted, and I thank the committee for George. And it's most meaningful to me because I join a person in this organization that is the most special, one of the most special people in the world to me, who was inducted in 1992, and that is my father, who has been an outstanding father, along with my mother. If there's a Hall of Fame for parents, they are certainly in the Hall of Fame of parents. They have been two of the most supportive, loving people on the face of this earth. And I have a Hall of Fame family of my own with my wonderful and lovely wife, Sue, who is absolutely the hardest working woman I've ever seen in my life and makes our family run. And extremely proud, we are both extremely proud of our children. Bill, who is a criminal justice major at UMass Lowell, Kristen, who's an elementary education major at Fitchburg State, Kirby, who is a senior at Chelmsford High School and a proud member of the Chelmsford High School varsity softball team, and will be a nursing student at UMass Lowell next year, and Kate, who has nothing but great things ahead of her at Chelmsford High School. And my sister Penny, my brother Mickey, and my brother Norman, and husbands and wives have all been a wonderful and very important part of our family. This year represents 35 years since our graduation in 1966. Thank you to people like Dennis McHugh, Billy Curran, Carol LeBlanc, Cindy Dupie, and others. And I apologize for those I missed. We've had terrific reunions every 5 years. That period in our high school, to be in high school, was one of the most rewarding, one of the most enjoyable periods in the last 30 or 40 years to have been a student at Chelmsford High School. Obviously, as we look back, and all of you in this room look back, there have been some substantial changes in our lives and in our educational system. The internet, we knew nothing of back in 1966. We knew nothing of cellular technology, about personal computers. Most calculation was still manual at that time. Look at the impact just in the last 30 years of technology in our lives in terms of productivity and industry, the impact that it has made in our lives and in our school systems. Back then we had one economy. Now we have two economies, the old economy and the new economy. I still haven't quite figured out the difference between those two, but as Robert Reich would say, the new economy is characterized by better, faster, cheaper. In many cases not better, in many cases not cheaper, but certainly faster, as we all can attest to in our daily lives. We had programs back then on TV displaying family values. Unfortunately, now we have programs displaying dysfunctional families. Very unfortunate. Back then, we used to ask our parents if we could borrow their car, because their car was always better than ours. Now I ask my kids if I can borrow their car. And I can say until recently, I always felt good pulling up next to Steve Meidell's car, because he absolutely had the worst car in the Chelmsford High School. Steve, you don't know what you did for my ego. We also used to ask our parents for $3 for gas. Now it's $33 for gas. We had schools that were viewed as safe havens. Institutions where children could come and learn, display friendship towards one another, display love towards one another and staff members. Now, we have schools that are moving towards minimum security facilities. Most unfortunate. We had an incident in the Westwood Public Schools back about a week and a half ago, which is very typical of what has happened around the country. A little child brought clearly a plastic toy to school. Unfortunately, had to be disciplined, suspended for a couple of days. You know, back then, in '66 and in that general area, if we kiddingly said to a friend, "I'm going to kill you for saying that," it meant nothing. It was a comment in passing that was given no second thought. Now we're leading kids out in handcuffs and fingerprinting. If nothing else, we need to begin, both as parents and as educators, to return civility.
Varsity soccer coach, JV baseball coach, and he was the site director for the Connecticut State Class L soccer tournament. From 1968 to 1972 at Chelmsford Junior High School, physical education teacher and the freshman basketball coach. 1969 to 1972, he was the head basketball coach at Littleton High School. Then in 1972 to 73, at Littleton High School, he became the physical education teacher, the athletic director, and the head basketball coach. From 1973 to the present time, Roxbury Latin School, director of physical education and athletics, varsity basketball coach, plans and administers a diverse athletic and physical education program, which includes scheduling and supervising 34 teams and over 400 athletic contests each year, recruits, interviews, and hires coaches, schedules officials and transportation, observes and evaluates 51 coaching positions, which also includes the equipment manager and athletic trainer. And over the years, served on the curriculum committee, the fields development committee, and the building committee. His coaching record: varsity basketball for 27 years. Overall record: 296 wins, 189 losses. He was voted the Coach of the Year in 1980, 81, and 1996. Independent School League champions in 91 and 92. New England Class E champions, 90 and 91. His professional memberships: Independent School League Council, which is a 16-school league. The president: 84-85, 92-93, and 98-99. Secretary: 83-84, 91-92. Headmaster, Athletic Director, Executive Committee for 14 years. The liaison to the league basketball coaches, league athletic trainers, and all officials organizations. Independent School Association of Massachusetts Professional Development Committee. New England Preparatory School Athletic Council District 3, made up of 72 schools, on the executive committee for 4 years. The Class C basketball tournament director from 1988 to 1991. His civic and community participation: United Church of Walpole, over the years, member of the nominating committee, member of the fellowship committee, member of the outreach committee, member of the investment committee. At Walpole High School, Fields Committee, 1995-1997. Field Hockey Parents Boosters, 1993 to 1999. He's a member of the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. His family includes his wife Ann, daughters Abigail, Lindsay, Chelsea, and Hannah, and his son Ross. In the 1962 yearbook, under his picture, it says, among many other things, "Brad, our Veep, a man of integrity and purpose, coaching and physical education in your future." It was 1962, 40 years ago. I give you Brad Perham. Michael.
This is quite an evening. I think one of the things that has thrilled me most about being here tonight is being able to see many people who I haven't seen for years and years and years. And it certainly has been a very enjoyable part of this evening for me. And it's great to see all those old faces here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Simonian, for nominating me, and also to the selection committee for selecting me. It's an honor to be one of the 99 alumni inducted into the Chelmsford High School Hall of Fame. I hope to be here to welcome others in the future, as I have been welcomed tonight. Much has been given to me by Chelmsford High School. Chelmsford High School gave me a great education. It gave me excellent teachers to learn from, with Mr. Simonian being the absolute best. gave me athletic opportunity. As was mentioned, I ran cross country for 1 year. I played baseball and I played basketball. My athletics had its beginning in Chelmsford, playing Little League baseball. Basketball, it was church league basketball, playing at the Lowell YMCA. Many of you might remember the annual Brotherhood basketball tournament between the churches in Chelmsford at the North School. The real basketball in Chelmsford, though, was learned in the backyards and in the driveways around the town of Chelmsford. These were knockout, drag-out games where if your team won, you continued to play. If your team lost, you sat and you waited for your time to play again. This was where we really learned how to play basketball. I had strong coaching while in Chelmsford. I had a wonderful baseball coach whose name was Dave McPhailin. My basketball coach was Henry McCarthy. Henry McCarthy was a true friend. Very often when I was supposed to be in study halls, I was down in the gym talking and conversing with Coach McCarthy. He was great to talk to. He was a great person that was there to always listen to you and talk basketball and talk about the upcoming game and talk about coaches and teams around the league. He knew the game of basketball well and taught me much of what I use today in my coaching at the Roxbury Latin School. He was also a great influence on me in terms of my becoming a physical educator and my becoming a basketball coach. He was a man that I truly admired. I had wonderful friends while I was in Chelmsford. Among them, one was Dave Page, who was a friend I had growing up in Chelmsford, who was at the high school through my sophomore year and then went on to Williston Prep School. But I mentioned Dave too for another reason, because his son John is a Roxbury Latin graduate and is now a sophomore at Harvard. My other wonderful friends in Chelmsford were Bruce Byam, Hank Brown, who's here tonight, Chuck Cook, who was here earlier, Brian Popolizio, and Richie Malloy, who was also here tonight. I was certainly blessed with wonderful friends who were real good people. I'm also blessed by my family. My sister Betsy joins me here tonight, driving up from Maryland with my nieces, Angela and Tori. My wife Ann has been by my side all these years and has certainly offered me wonderful support and has always been there. I have 5 great children who I'm very proud of for their academic and athletic accomplishments, as well as the type of people that they are becoming. Abby is a senior at Springfield College and will be graduating this year. She has had an illustrious athletic career at Springfield as a field hockey player, and this past year served as the team's captain, was the player of the year in the NUMAC conference, and for the second year was named an All-American, and this year made the first team nationally. I'm very proud of her and her accomplishments, and besides, she's been on the Dean's List all 4 years while at Springfield. Lindsay is a freshman at Springfield College and plays field hockey, was on the JV team this year, and also was on the Dean's List. And Lindsay's twin sister, Chelsea, decided not to go to Springfield and went 2 miles away to Western New England College, where she's majoring in criminal justice. She was a varsity field hockey player and almost made the Dean's List. Hannah is 14 and in 8th grade and is the brains of the family. She does extremely well in school and looks forward to being a freshman next year at Walpole High School and playing field hockey. And Ross is my 8-year-old son and a 2nd grader, and he can't wait till the day he can dunk it. Has aspirations of attending Roxbury Latin. My parents have given me much. They drove me to games, drove me to practices, picked me up, cheered for me and my teammates along the way. They made many sacrifices in their lives so I could attend college. Beyond that, however, they gave me many intangible things. Among them, support and encouragement. They taught me how important it was to have values, to be a good person, to have respect for others. These lessons have fit perfectly into my work at the Roxbury Latin School. In addition to the school's commitment to developing intellectual excellence, the school cares most of all what kind of a person a boy is. The school stresses the fundamental standards of respect, honesty, character, and concern for others, and it tries to practice these values in its life as a community. My role as a teacher, athletic administrator, and coach supports the philosophy of the Roxbury Latin School in teaching the value of hard work, mutual support, fair play, and sportsmanship. To quote the headmaster of the Roxbury Latin School, the Reverend F. Washington Jarvis, we call him Tony, and this is something that he tells our students on a regular basis, and I think it has great meaning. To whom much has been given, much is expected. Much has been given to me by my teachers, coaches, family, friends, and Chelmsford High School. I am fortunate to be able to give back to society through my position as an educator of tomorrow's leaders. Thank you.
Lyman Pevey, class of 1954, at Chelmsford High School, member of the National Honor Society, junior and senior years. He was the class treasurer his senior year. Member of the Student Council, member of the Junior Red Cross Club, member of various senior class committees, member of the varsity baseball team for 3 years, co-captain his senior year. He was a boys state representative. He received the Knightley Award as the highest ranking senior boy who led it in a major sport. His college career, graduated from Lowell Technological Institute in 1959 with a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering. He was a member of the varsity baseball team all 4 years. Graduated from Frostburg State University with an MBA in 1983. His professional career, from 1959 to 1962, is a safety engineer, United States Army, at the Springfield Armory in Springfield, Massachusetts. Then from 1962 to 66, he served as the Chief Safety Officer. 1966 to 67, Chief of the Safety Division, United States Army Engineers Research and Development Labs at Fort Belvoir, Maryland. 1967 to 1978, he was the Chief of the Safety and Fire Protection section of the National Bureau of Standards in Gaithersburg, Maryland. From 1978 to June of 2000, he was the Chief of the Occupational Health and Safety Division of the National Institute of Standards and Technology. He managed a division of approximately 27 employees, which consisted of engineers, health physicists, a fire protection specialist, industrial hygienists, technicians, administrative support personnel, and contract medical personnel. His division was responsible for matters involving occupational safety and health, radiation safety, environmental compliance, fire protection, health services, and emergency preparedness, planning and development, all at the federal level. His professional honors, the Department of Army Meritorious Civilian Service Award, the Department of Commerce Bronze Medal for Superior Federal Service. His professional publications, Laboratory Safety Manual, and a Manual for Health and Safety Instruction for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. His memberships, National Safety Management Society, National Fire Protection Association, American Society of Safety Engineers, and the Chester High School Alumni Association. Community involvement, the Montgomery County Recreational League as a baseball coach, Mill Creek Church Youth Group, coaching various sports, the Montgomery County Local Emergency Planning Council. He was the chairman of the Federal Installations Committee. Lyman's family includes his parents, Lyman and Ruth. His father, Lyman Sr., CHS class of 28, was a member of Chelmsford High School's very first football team. Lyman's wife, Pat, CHS class of 1954, and a member of the Alumni Association. Lyman has one son, Jeffrey, two daughters, Janice and Susan, three grandchildren, Melissa, Amanda, and Lindsay. Great deal of pleasure, Lyman Pevey.
Thank you very much. George, I only wish that I had you as a teacher, because it seems that you were one of the favorites. But I would also like to say that when I graduated from Chelmsford High School in 1954, we also had a very good core of excellent teachers. It's a group that certainly led me to believe that education was extremely important. And I can remember one particular teacher who at the time I didn't think too much of, but after I got out of high school, I recognized that she was a great influence, and that was Christine Booth. She was a hard taskmaster, but boy, she made you earn everything you got, and I learned a lot from her. I also am appreciative of the coaches that I had. Baseball was the one sport that I truly loved. We had great fun playing. One of my teammates is sitting right here, Tommy Payne. He was the third baseman, I was the first baseman. And he used to drive me crazy because there'd be a sharp line drive, hit the third base, he'd scoop it up with no problem, but he'd stand there and stand there and stand there, just baiting the runner. At the last minute, he'd let loose for a fastball and out by a half a step. Well, you get used to a fastball, and the next guy hits a line drive to third base, he scoops it up, and he holds it, and he holds it, and he throws you a knuckleball. And on. You never knew whether you were going to get a big hook, or a curve, or a fastball, or what have you. But that was a great time. I think that, well, I don't think, I know that the high school baseball team that we had could have beat my college team any day of the week and twice on Sunday. We had a great team, and I appreciate all the teammates that I had. And it's good to see you, Tom. There's a couple of other people who were an influence in my life. One of my classmates who's been a friend, a lifelong friend of mine, is here, Alumni. I remember from the time I was 13 years old until I graduated from college, I worked for his father on a farm. Now that may not seem too impressive, but it sure in hell made me learn what it is to work. And when I went out into the professional work world, I didn't have too much tolerance for people who told me that they were overworked. I want to also express appreciation for all the teachers in Chelmsford High School as well as in the educational world, because I don't know of any other profession that is so underpaid. They really deserve a heck of a lot more because they're a great influence to how we all grow up. I left Chelmsford in 1959, and I haven't lived here since then, but I am proud to be a graduate of Chelmsford High School. I feel very honored to be one of the 9 inductees up here tonight, and I want to congratulate each and every one of them, as I want to congratulate all those who preceded us. I'm particularly appreciative of some of my 1954 classmates who are also were inductees: Joe Marcotte, Jerry Hardy, John Flynn, and Paul Moody. And I'm wondering, is there a glass ceiling there someplace? Maybe we could do better. I want to thank a few people. I want to thank a classmate of mine. I think I want to thank a classmate of mine who submitted my nomination. She's also been my wife for close to 42 years. She has given me constant love and support and has allowed me to accomplish those things that I've been able to do over the life. And I'm proud of her, I'm proud of our children, and I want to thank you very much. Are there any engineers sitting out here. I know there's some up here. My wife keeps telling me that she and some of her friends who have husbands that are engineers, she says, we're a strange breed of cat. I don't understand what she's talking about. She says that we have analytical minds and we never see things clearly. And I'm reminded of these two engineers that met each other in the park. And one was riding a really sharp-looking bicycle, and the other engineer says, where did you get that bicycle? He said, you'll never believe it. I was jogging through the park yesterday, and this voluptuous blonde came riding with a bicycle, threw it down onto the ground, took off her clothes, threw them on the ground, and said, you can take anything you want. And the other engineer said, good choice, the clothes wouldn't fit anyway. I've had a long career and a very rewarding career, and I retired last June after 41 plus years with the federal service. And it's been a great time since I've retired. Things have happened to me. I was nominated and selected for this prestigious award. I also learned that I'm now eligible for Medicaid. I don't know whether that's good or that's bad. But I'm reminded of this 67-year-old couple who went to the doctor. And the doctor says, how can I help you folks? Well, the gent says, would you watch us having intercourse? And the doctor was puzzled. And he said, well, okay. So he did, and when they were through, he said, well, I don't see anything wrong. Everything looks just fine to me. And he charged them $82, and they left. Well, this went on for several weeks. They come, they do their thing, and they get $82. After several more weeks, the doctor says, what is it that you want me to do for you? What is it you're looking for? Well, the gent says, looking for? We're not looking for anything. She's married, we can't go to her place. And he says, I'm married, we can't go to our place. The Holiday Inn charges $98. The Hilton charges $115. Here I pay $82, and I got 78 of that back from Medicare.
Bruce Rich, class of 1973. At Chelmsford High School, class vice president, member of the Key Club, a gymnastics show participant, member of the baseball team for 2 years, member of the varsity wrestling team all 3 years, co-captain his senior year, all conference his senior year, and he placed third at the state meet. Member of the varsity football team all 3 years, all conference first team his senior year. He was the team's most valuable player his senior year. He played defensive back, tight end, and he was the place kicker. He kicked the field goal that beat Lowell 9-7 in the first game of the current series. And Lowell football hasn't been the same since. College career. Graduated from Boston University, class of 1977, with a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in physical education and in health. Attended on a 4-year, 2-sport scholarship. He was a member of the football team all 4 years, played defensive back, and was a place kicker. All New England his senior year as a defensive back. Was the game captain 4 times his senior year. Held all of the BU kicking records. He received the Gaston Award for outstanding back his senior year. Member of the wrestling team all 4 years. New England place winner, sophomore, junior, and senior years. Yankee Conference champion, sophomore and senior years. The Greater Boston champion, sophomore, junior, and senior years. He was the student representative to the Boston University Athletic Council. His professional career, 1977 to 1978, a physical education teacher for the Boston Archdiocese. From 1978 to the present time, physical education teacher at the Chelmsford Public Schools. Now, through those years, from 1978 to 1983, adaptive physical education teacher throughout the system. That's working with special needs kids. 1983 to 1993, physical education teacher at the McCarthy Middle School. Then from 1993 to the present time, physical education teacher at the Parker Middle School. His coaching career at Chelmsford High School. 1981, golf assistant coach. 1984, girls tennis head coach. 1985 to 1988, baseball freshman coach. 1990, track javelin coach. 1992 to the present time, softball head coach. 1979 to the present time in football. 1979 he was the head freshman coach. 1980 to 84, the varsity defensive backs. 1985 became the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. Then in 1996 to the present time, he is the head varsity coach. Wrestling, 1979 to the present time. 1979 he was the head freshman coach. In 1980, to the present time, the head varsity coach. 3 varsity coaches: football, wrestling, and softball. His coaching record: as a head coach, girls tennis, 1 year, 17-3. Softball, 124-76, 124 wins, 76 losses. 3 conference championships, 1 Division I state championship. In football, as a head coach, 29-20-2, 1 conference championship, 1 Super Bowl finalist. Wrestling, 360 victories, 62 defeats, 7 ties. 12 conference championships, 8 Division I North Sectional championships, 5 Division I state championships, 1 New England championship. His coaching honors: Wrestling Coach of the Year at the Lowell Sun, 1984, 85, 86, 90, 93, 99, and 2000. The Boston Globe, 1986, 1999. The Massachusetts Coaches Association, 1985, 86, 1990, 1999, and 2000. The National Federation of Wrestling Coaches, 1989 and 1995. He was inducted into the Massachusetts Coaches Association Hall of Fame in 1998. From 1989 to the present time, he is Vice President of the Massachusetts Coaches Association. He's also a member of the High School Alumni Association. This summer, he will serve as an assistant coach at the annual Shriners All-Star Football Game. In his spare time, he has served as the manager of the Russell Mills Swim and Tennis Club every summer since 1989. And for several years, served on the Greater Lowell Special Olympics Committee. His family: wife Peg, sons: Bruce Jr., CHS class of 2004, Eddie, CHS class of 2005, Tim, CHS class of 2008, Megan, CHS class of 2012. My pleasure, really my pleasure, to present one of CHS's all-time outstanding coaches, my good friend, Bruce Rich.
Oh, wow. I had an opening joke, but that guy over there, I'll never, ever be able to live up to that. Megan, it's almost over. I'm the last one. There's dessert on the other side of the wall. Just a little while longer. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for all the hard work in making this evening possible. They're a terrific group of people. Dennis King, thank you very much for your nomination. I don't know how people get nominated for this. It's about a 15-page application that you have to fill out. And I just don't know how you were able to spend the time to do it, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I'd like to thank George Simonian. I've got a special connection with George. I was on the student council my senior year, class vice president, and that was George's first year as principal. And George wanted to get to know all of the people in his class, real quick, and had lots of meetings. And well, we met, and we got to know each other quite a bit. And we had our senior prom at the Andover Rolling Green and there was a little vandalism in the bathroom, and so George called a meeting. Well, he called a meeting, we had a couple of girls on the student council at the time, called a meeting right in the bathroom over the urinal. They destroyed. That was our early contact with George, and we were grateful. George, and we've stayed in touch quite a bit since then, since George has retired, and even when he was principal, stayed very much involved in athletics, and I think one of his favorite sports is football. Every year you can see George down in the field, checking out the new recruits, and doing a little bit of homework and finding out what we're going to do for a game plan. And I think that's because he wants to sit in the stands and sound a little better when call a play. Should have called this one, should have called that one. Actually, we had a little thing going for a while. George would come down before a game. This is when I was offensive coordinator, and just recently too. And, I'd say, "Okay, George, what do you want for a first play of the game?" And George would give me a play. Well, in 1994, we had that infamous game against Billerica where we scored 62 points, and we were accused by all the Billerica people of running the score up, and poor Tommy Cato took all the heat for it, and this guy's the guy that got the ball rolling. The first play was a touchdown to Nate Lindstedt right down the sideline, and some of you have been there remember that, but George was responsible, and you did. It was you. Sometimes in church, ministers get a little bit long-winded, and sometimes when we have football practice and it wraps up, we bring all the kids in and we put them on a knee and we talk to them. And sometimes I get a little long-winded. Well, Jack Fletcher figured out a way to cut my speeches short, and he would say, "Amen, brother." That's what they do in church. Amen, brother. And so he got a couple of kids around him. So if I got a little bit long-winded, I get the amen, brother. That was my signal to cut the speech off. But appreciate it, Jack, and I've gotten used to it after about the first 15 amens. A lot of fun. I almost didn't get into education. I'll share a couple of little stories with you. When I was a sophomore at BU, we had a physical education class, and I think this was an experiment. The phys ed people shipped in about 50 inner city kids, and they brought them right into the BU gym. And as all the phys ed people sat there, and all the kids came in, and there was equipment all over the place. And I was pointed out along with this hockey guy named Michael Ruzioni, that later on went on to become an Olympic hockey captain. But Rich Ruzioni, get out there and teach a hockey unit. And I'm going, I'm all set. Ruzioni's a hockey guy, he's going to take over this class. Well, it took us about 45 minutes to get these kids just settled down. They were flying all over the gym. They were going absolutely crazy with the equipment. Before the class was through, we ended up with about a 5-minute hockey game. And Ruzioni really took care of things, being a hockey guy. But we got absolutely murdered in the next class by the teaching instructor. She said, "You guys will never make it in education. You'll never make it in coaching." And it was a hard pill to take. And we actually considered dropping out of school at the time, but we were on scholarship. Figured we'd stay there because we enjoyed the sport so much, and we'll just keep on plugging along. Plus the cafeteria food was pretty good. So we stayed. But another happening was my senior year at BU. We did our student teaching over at Winthrop, and I went into the elementary school, and the physical education teacher there said, "Watch me teach this basketball class." So I watched. He did a nice job, and he said, "Do you think you can do this?" Well, I didn't want to back down from it. It was a challenge, and I said, "Sure." He said, "Great, here's the ball. See you in 6 weeks." He went upstairs and had coffee, and I never saw the guy, but we had fun playing basketball for 6 weeks. And, it wasn't exactly the experience I was looking for in education. Also that year, I went over to the Winthrop High School, and they were interested in starting a wrestling program. They knew I had a wrestling background, so they asked if I could do some wrestling. And I said, "Sure, that's right down my alley. This will be a piece of cake." All right. I figured a couple of weeks of that. Well, he said, "See you in 6 weeks." So it was 6 weeks of wrestling. I managed to I caught on by that time, and I snuck in a couple of other sports, but that was my student teaching experience, and it wasn't a really positive one, so I wasn't really sure if, this was what, I was cut out to do. But, I stayed with it. And upon graduating, I landed a job in the, as George said, in the parochial schools down in Boston. I'm sorry, Jack, they were Catholic schools. I know how you feel about those. But, that was long. Sorry. Anyway, in the parochial schools, the sisters would collect quarters from the kids as they came into the, well, we didn't even have gymnasiums. The conditions were very poor. We were in basements and parking lots, and we just did the best we could, but they'd collect quarters from all the kids as they came into class. And at the end of the day, I'd go up and see the head sister, and she'd pay me, and sometimes I'd get a check for $20, and other times I'd get 20 or a couple of tens, and one day I got a bag of quarters. And I said, thank you very much. And, well, that was 1 year, and it was an interesting situation, but a job opened up in Chelmsford for adaptive physical education, and I jumped on it right away. And I interviewed with George Simonian and the late Nate Madonna for the job, and I was given that position, and did that for 5 years. It was very gratifying, very fulfilling, working with special needs students. And so for 5 years, I was able to do that. 10 years after that, I was able to teach physical education at the McCarthy School, and we had a great time over there. And in the last 8 years at Parker School, we've done phys ed with people over there, Michelle Sloan, who's here tonight, and Pat Graham, and we feel we have one of the better physical education programs around right now. And we're very, very proud of the work being done over there. I've been very lucky to coach at Chelmsford High School. We have great athletes, supportive parents, and an athletic director you can count on to be there when you need him. That's Jack Fletcher over there. I want to thank you, Jack. To be able to work with capable assistant coaches has been a big part, I think, of the winning formula. And there are several of those tonight. As I just glance around, I'm looking at Kevin Branco and Bubba Fletcher. And over here I see Michelle Sloan and Scotty Moreau, Todd Ducharme, and Stevie McClure. And there's one more coach I'll tell a little story about. Oftentimes, if a coach wants a job at the high school, they'll just apply for it. Or you'll maybe see somebody out there that you graduated, and give them a call and try to get them in. Well, one day I was coaching softball, and coaching third base, and I wheeled the girl around from third into home, and she was out by a mile. And there were two, I ran into the dugout, and said, okay, girls, let's go get them, play good defense. And there were two gentlemen standing there, and one of them was a fellow sitting right over there named Dr. Stu Weisfeld. And he said, hey, Coach, what's this mean? Bring him in for an out? I didn't know Stu at the time. He hadn't delivered any of my kids. This is about 6 years ago. And I said, okay, buddy. I said, we practice at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Why don't you come on down and show us what you got? Well, he showed up. And he's been with us ever since, and we just can't get rid of him. Doc likes that exposure, especially during election years when that field is right up on that, the rotary, and practice too much. I've also had some influences in my coaching career, namely Dick Bovey and Tommy Cato, and a gentleman sitting right over there, Randy Whitehead. Randy was my old wrestling coach, and he was athletic director when I started out, and I think that I owe you a lot. I owe all those gentlemen a lot. Randy, I think you taught me to make sure it stayed fun, and that has stayed with me, and that's been a theme all the way through my career, to make sure it stayed fun. Thank you. We've always had an administration that realizes the importance of athletics, and I'm appreciative of all their support. You see them in all the contests. They're great people, and the administration today and past administrators. And I see some past administrators over there right now, Ed Quinn and Jack Conrad. And you know, thank you for everything that you've done over the years too. Coaching. Coaching has allowed me to participate in some worthwhile events, namely the Carroll Classic football game, which is a charity football event to benefit kids with cancer. There's a Camp Carroll up in New Hampshire, and 2 years ago, our entire coaching staff and several of our players were fortunate enough to be able to participate in this event, and it was a big eye-opener. And as George said, we have an opportunity to participate in the Shriners football game, and that benefits the Shrine Burns Hospital. And we have two of our players this year that are able to play in that event also, and their names are Michael Tuzinat and Mike Smith, and we're looking forward to that event. Nowadays, there's more to coaching. You have to have a greater knowledge of the sport in order to compete. It's become very high-tech. There are all kinds of resources available to coaches, and you really got to stay on top of things. Coaches have to teach morals and ethics, I believe, more than ever. And we have to find those kids that are at a crossroads in their lives and try to get them to make the right decisions for themselves. That's the most important part of it. I think coaches are constantly having to run fundraisers these days. And they need to do that to supplement the athletic budget. And I'm not making a political speech here, but Jack does a great job with the little that he has. And but we have to take care of our equipment needs. And there are other groups that help us out also, and I'd like to recognize them tonight. There's a couple of groups of firemen over there. They go out and raise money all year. And anytime we're in a jam, if we need a little bit of help with, for instance, this year with the Super Bowl, we needed turf shoes. They were able to come through along with the police department and made donations to us. And we're appreciative of that. Thank you. And also, as George mentioned before, the All Sports Boosters Club, those people are tireless. They work all kinds of hours. They raise money and they supplement the athletic budget. They do some great things too, and I thank you. This is truly an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'd like to thank some people. First of all, my mother and father, who have been there obviously from the start, but I think they went to every one of my, in all of our contests, growing up. Even in college, we took road trips. We went out of state. They were always there, and they've still taken an interest in all the activities at Chelmsford High School. I think they're probably two of Chelmsford High School's biggest fans. They live down at the school. I'd like to recognize my brother Jimmy, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. I didn't even want to be a wrestler growing up. He was a state wrestling champion, and he'd come home, and a couple of years older, and he'd come home, and he'd beat on me, show me the moves, and I just basically had no choice. I wanted to be a basketball player, but Jimmy, I'm glad you did, so thank you. And my sister Linda, who's here tonight, is probably the best athlete in our family. She was a state track champion in javelin and full scholarship athlete to field hockey at BU, and I'm happy you're here tonight. I'd like to recognize, just to go back a little bit, and recognize another coach. A lot of people come up and thank all their teachers, and I'm appreciative to them. I'm grateful for them. But sometimes it's a youth coach that may have just said the right thing, or done the right thing, or maybe just showed a little extra interest in you that kept you going on the right track. One of my youth coaches is here tonight, and that's Bob Musgrove, and I thank you, Bob. And along with my children, they're in Chelmsford Public Schools, I'm proud to say. They'll continue with Chelmsford Public Schools, and they're very, very active in sports and other activities. But my son Bruce, my son Eddie, my son Timmy, and my daughter Megan, thank you for putting up with Daddy sometimes after a loss. There was a time there where I got really busy, and I came home one time, I'd think I heard someone say Uncle Bruce. We have a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to being able to coach one of my boys already. Looking forward to coaching the other two, and if I hang in there for softball long enough, honey, I'll be able to get you too. And last one I'd like to thank is my wife, Peg. She's the one that really keeps it all together, keeps the supper warm, and just is right there. I think put reality checks on me when I come home and I'm depressed about a game or something. She says, "Get a life." She brings me back quick, and it's really right back out there. And I'm appreciative for everything she does. She just keeps it all together. Thank you. Once again, this is truly an honor, and I thank you very much.
Congratulations to the to the 9 new members of our Hall of Fame. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. If you parked in the garage, get your parking tickets validated at the front desk. Next year's Hall of Fame is March the 23rd, 2002, when we'll be inducting 9 more great people. I'd like to see all of you here. And now when I say the magic word, those doors will open, and we're going to have dessert and coffee, and I would like you to stay, enjoy, and socialize, and come up and talk to these great people. Thank you very much. It's been a great